Hi, this is Booked with Emma. I'm Emma, and today we're talking about this book, Green Tea by Sheridan Le Fanu. It's actually a short story. It's one of the Penguin Little Black Classics, so it's really short. It's 53 pages, and it's described on the back as one of the greatest Victorian ghost stories. Sheridan Le Fanu was also the author of Camilla and Uncle Silas, and I was intrigued to read this one because I've read Uncle Silas and really love it, and was really surprised at how gripping it is for a Victorian novel. And because I really liked Uncle Silas, I thought I would probably really like this one too. So I gave it a go. At the beginning, there's a prologue where we're introduced to the narrator. And the narrator is introducing these letters. So the majority of the book is letters from the narrator's mentor, Dr. Martin Hesselius, to his friend, Professor von Loo of Leyden, about Martin Hesselius's experiences with Mr. Jennings, who was a reverend. Dr. Hesselius meets Mr. Jennings at a dinner party, and they have quite a short interaction. They have a short conversation, and Dr. Hesselius also kind of observes Mr. Jennings kind of looking around in a weird way when they're talking and when he's on his own as well. After Mr. Jennings leaves, Dr. Hesselius talks to their mutual friend, Lady Mary, and Dr. Hesselius has made a few deductions which he mentions to Lady Mary, and she is able to confirm. So the four things that Dr. Hesselius has deduced from talking to Mr. Jennings: number one, that he's not married; number two, that he is or was writing a book on theology; number three, that he drinks a lot of green tea; and number four, that one of his parents saw a ghost. And it ends up that all of those things are true. It was his father that saw the ghost, and he drinks a lot of green tea. I was a little bit puzzled at first because I thought that green tea was like just in the last 15 years or something that it became a trend. I didn't know Victorians were drinking green tea, but I looked it up and they were. I found a whole article on the NPR website about green tea and about how Victorians were terrified of green tea. In the article, they quoted a book called Inventing the Victorians by Matthew Sweet. And in that, he says, readers of Victorian fiction and journalism were used to seeing green tea evoked as a stomach-churning, nerve-jangling threat to health. It turns out, maybe you already knew this, I had no idea, that in the 1600s and 1700s, most of the tea that was being imported was green tea, not black tea. Green tea ended up getting a bad reputation, partly because there were some rumours that it caused insomnia and hysteria, and partly because a lot of the green tea was adulterated. So the dealers, either in China or in the UK, would bulk up the green tea by adding other random leaves and also apparently even iron filings. And then not only that, but then they would use toxic dyes to get the green colour. So it was actually quite dangerous if you were drinking the contaminated green tea, but also a lot of people just thought in general that green tea stopped you from sleeping and made you go a bit mad. And there was even an article in the Lancet, the medical journal, in 1839 where they talked about a case of a woman who drank green tea on an empty stomach and got hysterical. So it was a mainstream belief as well that green tea was kind of dangerous. So there's more back and forth with Dr. Hesselius and Mr. Jennings and talking about Mr. Jennings' problem, but he for a long time doesn't really say what his problem is, but they're kind of going backwards and forwards with it. And eventually Mr. Jennings reveals that he has been seeing a monkey. The monkey is like a demonic figure. He can see it with his eyes open. He can also see it with his eyes closed. And the monkey follows him around. Sometimes it leaves him for a couple of weeks, but it always comes back. And the monkey tries to get Mr. Jennings to do violent things to himself or to other people. And the monkey also, bearing in mind Mr. Jennings is a vicar, so he has to do a lot of kind of religious things in his day-to-day life. The monkey does not like that. The monkey tries to stop him. So he'll do things like, if Mr. Jennings is giving a sermon and he's reading from the Bible, the monkey will sit on the Bible so that Mr. Jennings can't see what he's meant to be reading. And he also won't let Mr. Jennings pray. So when Mr. Jennings is trying to pray, the monkey will kind of like shout obscenities in his ear and not let him concentrate. Or if Mr. Jennings is trying to meditate, the monkey will kind of swing backwards and forwards, almost like a pendulum, like hypnotizing him so that he can't concentrate on what he's trying to do. So a little bit similar to the demon in Starlight, the Stella Gibbons book that I was talking about last week, in that the demon gets very angry at anything to do with religion. And also it reminded me of the Malleus Maleficarum, which is the medieval witch hunter's guide, which tells you how to spot witches, but of course is not really based in reality because they hadn't been studying witches to find out what they do. They were just guessing what witches might do. And one of those things was that witches would go to mass, they said, and they would look like they were kind of saying the prayers, whispering the prayers, but they would actually be whispering obscenities and like blasphemous things. So a lot of the same kind of ideas. I won't say what happens in the end, but what I will say is that for a book that's 53 pages, this book felt very long, really long. It was kind of slow. And one thing that I feel like I can't really criticize is, in a way, it's kind of quite formulaic, but Sheridan Le Fanu was one of the people inventing this formula, and then it was used again and again and again. Now doesn't feel original, but I'm sure at the time when people were reading this, it felt more original. Obviously, that is an unfair criticism, but it didn't really keep my attention, and it just felt really long. And it was so short, but it felt long. I don't mind books where they go off the point and they take a long time to get to the point. What I don't love is sometimes when you feel like the characters are having the exact same conversation quite a few times, and each time they have the conversation you get a little bit more information, but then they have to keep repeating almost the same thing. I find that doesn't hold my attention very well, and there is a lot of that in this book. The other thing I did also struggle with a bit was the narrator talking about Dr. Hesselius, talking about Mr. Jennings, especially because the narrator would interject sometimes just to add little bits of information. I didn't find that easy. I would have liked it to be more simple, but that's probably just me. Anyway, overall, I was a bit disappointed because I really, really like Uncle Silas, and I will reread that, but I don't think I'll probably read any more of Sheridan Le Fanu's short fiction. I think these little black classics are really worth it because if I'd bought a full book of collected short fiction of Sheridan Le Fanu, I think I would be struggling to get through it, but just having one short thing, you can kind of see if you like it. So overall, I didn't love this. I wouldn't plan on reading it again, but it was quite interesting just in terms of getting a good background of Victorian fiction and seeing where some of our horror fiction and ghost fiction comes from today. And also the green tea part, because I never knew any of that, so that was really interesting. Please let me know if you already knew about green tea causing hysteria. I had no idea, especially because now I think it has this reputation of being a healthier alternative to black tea. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Anyway, I wouldn't recommend this, but if you have read it, please let me know what you think. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.